Jill and I spent a month sailing the Centaur in and around Orkney. We came to love the gentle landscapes bathed in wonderfully clean northern light, sculptured beaches, crystal clear waters, rosts and some lovely sailing. Then, after waiting for a weather window in Piero Wall, there was the long, for us anyway, journey north from Orkney to Shetland. 80 miles in one hop. We could have stopped at Fair Isle halfway up, but the gentle southerly we were enjoying was forecast to lift up her skirts in 24 hours or so, and then go a bit mad. I was thrit that if we stopped in Fair Isle, we could be there for days. So I resolved to push on, and I'll call in next time I'm passing, sometime in 2030 or so, I think. We dipped in for a night in Sunborough, in a small marina at the end of the runway, and then pushed straight on up the coast with that freshening southerly blowing up Harmony's chuff. The waves got steeper as the gently tapering shape of the sound between the main island and Bressay started to mess with the formerly well-ordered physics of the long, gentle rollers coming up here from the open water. Watch this on a big telly for a moment or two. Rather good fun, I thought. All things considered, it was a rollicking good sail. Strong winds, no rain, good light, and new places to see. The old Centaur is designed to deal with this sort of stuff. Her twin keels have a slight toe-in, so when she's running like this, they pull her down into the water. She feels like a bigger boat, but you watch that bow go down into a trough and you wonder when she'll ever start to rise again. Then the bow flare and the westerly knuckle start to kick in and up she comes. The foredeck hardly got wet at all. We had planned to drop an anchor at Moosa and visit Scotland's best broch, but it would have been too rough to land safely. So if you want to learn about this magnificent structure and its function, best fire up Google and follow one of my links below. Most people make landfall in Shetland by heading straight for Lerwick, or Lerwick as some would have it. But since the Scots can't agree among themselves as to which is the correct pronunciation, why the ferrick should I care? On such occasions I fall back on saying things the way they're spelt because that seems as good a way to start as any. Now here's the thing, Lerwick is almost exactly equidistant from Aberdeen, Norway and the Faroes. There's a Lerwick in Norway and a Lerwick in the Faroes. So that tells you that all these islands belonged to the Vikings at one time. Lerwick means clay harbour. Bit of a disappointing name if you ask me, like calling a town Sandy or Big Rock. The town has a permanent population of 7,500, so it's a pretty busy place, made even more frenetic by the demands of the island communities, agriculture, fishing and the offshore energy industry based in Shetland. Big ships, big cranes, big engineering, big blokes. Lerwick is a real 24-hour industrial and logistics powerhouse. It's hard not to be overawed by the bustle of the place, especially after arriving straight from Orkney, which is such a haven of peace and quiet.
Oh, look at all that space. Well, we'll put them on the right-hand side. We'll go up behind that other yacht at the front. That's more the size you expect them to be, isn't it?
The old town is lovely. Narrow winding streets and sturdy stone buildings that stand strong and stout against the tough weather up here. Some might consider it a little dour, but not me. I like it this way. And yes, there are some trees, but only a few that hide away behind walls which shelter them from the relentless string of wintry gales that sweep through at any time between January the 1st and December the 31st. Rather curiously, in the main square is a shop that pumps out music from really tinny speakers. Over the Rainbow was playing while I was there. Judy would have been proud, very proud. Like other urban kids, the local youths film themselves taking insane risks on BMX bikes down steep steps and through narrow alleys. But these guys are in close proximity to expensively dangerous plate glass windows. The more modern architecture tells you that Lerwick is built to cope with the really crap weather they get for 80% of the year. They carry on their lives regardless of what living at these latitudes can do to your tolerance of wind, rain, and in the winter months, dreadfully long nights and horribly short, often dull, wet, windy grey days. I'm sure that they get the odd wintertime Bobby Dazzler, but by and large, most people would admit that Shetland winter weather is hard to live with. I was told by an old Shetlander who I met smoking roll-ups on a park bench that before the web they used to get through the winters on good books, good homemade music, Radio Scotland, hard work and lots of alcohol. Those 19-hour northern latitude nights must have been interminable. It must have been a really tough life. Now that Shetland has some of the best broadband in Scotland, the world pours into their front rooms through their smartphones and computer screens. The web and alcohol gets them through the winters. Shetland is a well-wired place, in every sense of the word. They are also pretty serious about their winter parties. Uphellia is held on January the 31st, the end of Yule. It's the first 24-hour period when you really notice that the days have got a tiny bit longer. Shetland has always lived off imported labour and is teeming with healthy young men here to make money and have a good time. Before 1880 they celebrated the end of Yule by carrying lighted tar barrels through the streets. The bravest, stupidest and strongest men carried the barrels until they fell apart in satisfying showers of sparks. The po-faced Victorians decided it was a ridiculously dangerous excuse for a fiery piss-up and attempted to gentrify it by turning it into a torchlight parade. I'm pleased to report to you though that the fiery piss-up part of the proceedings continues unabated. Up to 1,000 blokes, many modern temporary workers, gangs of offshore men, teams of welders, engineers, ferrymen, fishing crews and even fish packers. Each group of men dressed the same as their workmates. It must be quite a thing to see. At the moment, Lerwick is being asked to absorb an extra 2,000 men, 1,400 of them welders from Poland, here to build the giant gas plant at Sullom Voe, a short bus ride to the north of town. They're housed in what are known as walk-to-work floating accommodation blocks. There are 3 213-man bibby blocks. 3 stories, clean, cramped and I assume pretty noisy places to live. I spoke to the blokes and most of them said the food was adequate but repetitive and cheap. The crazy stripe thing is, you might have guessed it already, a French accommodation block. Good on them. This one is called sans vitesse. No speed. Get it? French joke apparently. 101 cabins with ensuite bathrooms, restaurant, cafe, galley, fitness area and laundry. It looks much better than the bibby blocks, but it has the same food budget as the other boats, so the men said. The Lerwickians protested about the excessive ugliness of these sans vitesse and preferred the look of the Lego-style bibby blocks. I know which one I prefer to live on. Just down the dock from us was the largest Viking ship made for hundreds of years. It's the mighty Draken Harald Harfagra. Probably screwed that name up too. 115 feet long and 26 feet wide, making it as wide as Harmony is long. She weighs 90 tons, the same as a fleet of 25 Harmonies, and has 50 oars, each of which requires 2 hefty men. These boats were sailed almost everywhere until it came to raiding time, in which case 100 or so strong men would row as hard as they could to close with the enemy before they could get ready for a fight, or even worse, flee carrying their gold with them. The rig is massive and even under wind power requires 30 people just to move the giant canvas square sail and yard arm around. The Draken has been clocked at 14 knots downwind. But these boats with their long shallow keels, simple rig and steering oar sail surprisingly well to windward, a bit like my duck punt, and can handle the biggest of ocean rollers, not like my duck punt. The crew have a little tent on board where they can sleep out of the bad weather, but only a third of them at a time can get in there, so the rest just have to tough it out inside their disgustingly smelly dry suits. The modern incarnation of the Draken also has twin diesels, just for emergencies, and nothing wrong with that. The point is that they've safely but uncomfortably sailed this boat through some of the coldest, roughest, windiest, rootinest, tootinest, toughest waters to be found anywhere in the world, proving to my satisfaction at least that the Vikings got to America years before the Dagos did. If you watch the YouTube films of her being sailed, you'll understand what amazing people the Vikings were. Well organised, disciplined, high energy, motivated team workers, cold tolerant, warlike and as tough as bloody nails. Most of us in Britain have more than a trace of Viking genes. I'll just leave that one with you. I like Lerwick very much indeed, but I confess that after the peace and quiet of the past month in Orkney, it all began to feel a bit busy, a bit oppressive. After a day ashore, refilling the cupboards with food and waiting for the southerly to more or less blow through, we slipped out of Lerwick and into the fast-flowing northerly tide that was slamming up the Sound of Bressay. We were sailing up what is normally the sheltered side of the islands, well protected from the prevailing westerlies, but the southeaster was blowing a good 3 or 4 and had a fetch that brought the waves up from northern Europe. 6 knots on the clock is a fine speed for any 26-footer, and the chunky Centaur surged onwards with that reassuringly solid wallow she has. Jill steered, while I navigated our way through the scattered rocks and tiny islands that litter this part of Shetland. Good fun indeed.
We've just left Lerwick. We're romping up here. It was very smooth, doing about 5.5 knots, 6 knots. Now we've come out as a southeasterly blowing. So we've come out here and it's got a bit more boisterous, and we're on our way up towards Walsey Island. And there are rocks everywhere. It's extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. Fortunately, there are also lots of good boys to tell us where we are. So next thing you can see is Who Stack.
Wiki tells me that Shetland is an archipelago, a 300-strong cluster of islands. 15 of them are inhabited, and it has 1,600 miles of coast. Although I'm not sure where and when a rock becomes an island. Put in every edifice with green on top and the coastline must be much, much longer than that. The sailing is wonderful with tiny inlets and bows to keep any edge crawler smiling happily through the 22-hour-long midsummer days. Shetland has been inhabited for at least 6,000 years, and we really know bugger all about what happened here until in 900 the Norse arrived in force and all but annihilated the natives, leaving barely a trace of them, neither on the ground nor in the gene pool. The Norse were keen on the concepts of Lebensraum, ethnic cleansing and genocide 1,000 years before the Germans rediscovered them. The Scandinavians held the islands for 5 centuries and happily thrived and fought each other over the place until, in the 1400s, the Scottish monarchy got fed up with their incessant piracy and shore raiding because it was disrupting good trading, so they annexed both Orkney and Shetland from the Norwegians. Then followed 3 centuries of Scottish infighting. The usual bloodletting and alliance forming, you know the score by now, until in 1707 the Act of Union was passed, in which Scotland became part of Great Britain and was more or less peaceful, as long as we parked the Jacobite uprisings that erupted in 1715 and 1745. But then it all calmed down fairly quickly, and the English and the Scots have been living in perfect harmony for the past couple of centuries. But no peace lasts forever. Shetland became a real backwater and was much less well developed than Orkney, which at least had good agricultural land. All the Shetlanders really had to sell was salted cod, wool, and, as an extra bonus, they had more or less cornered the market for incredibly strong-minded yet ridiculously tiny ponies, which the English aristocracy continued to inflict on its children in the belief that it's in some way character forming. Then in 1974, North Sea oil arrived and saved the arse of the British economy. The oil men needed a super secure deep water facility close to the rigs, so the oil could be loaded into super tankers. The terminal at Sullom Voe sprang up all but overnight. But not before the canny bastards on the Shetland Council cornered a levy on every barrel of oil passing through the place. The legacy of their excessive cleverness is that the council is now sitting on a pile of cash big enough to allow it to lavish £10,000 a year on every islander for the foreseeable future. As a result, Shetland has magnificent infrastructure, great roads, brilliant schools and wonderful sports centres offering swimming pools, all-weather pitches, squash courts, you name it, they have it. The Shetlanders are exceptionally well looked after by local government.
This is one of the best sails of my life. It's just extraordinary. It is absolutely wonderful. We're at the top of Britain, and it's a sunny day, and there are rocks all around us, but it's all beautifully marked. And we're reaching. Sea could be a bit flatter, but the wind is pushing us in the direction we want to go. It's in the southeast. We're going to go up around the top of the mainland. I don't think I'm going to go around Muckleflug. I'll save that for later. And go through the gap between the mainland and Yell. That is the mainland of Shetland, the biggest island. And then, I don't know, they call it the mainland. And then back down the other side and wait for a suitable wind to take us around Cape Roth. Wow. So we've just come round Pooh Stack, and now we're heading off in this direction, but there's a rock here called the Snecken. Not a nice name. Which looks remarkably like a buoy from a distance. So, and there's rocks over here as well. And then there are rocks everywhere. Yeah. But this is a, this is a well-marked channel here. Simbista. 5.5 knots, absolutely lovely. we're doing 6 knots. Deep reef main and about a third of the Genoa out. And the boat's loving it. Tiller pilot's having to work quite hard to keep her on course. And the kettle's just boiled. This really is probably the most perfect sailing you could ever imagine. There's lots of wind. Could do with a few less clothes on, not quite so many clothes, but it's all right. We've got used to it now. This is the way we think sailing is. This is Simbista, and this island has the reputation for being the richest island in the UK. The highest per capita number of millionaires here, and they're millionaires because of fishing. They had the licenses for the boats, they bought the licenses up, and they've got the giant pelagic boats. And this is where they live, apparently. But looking at this little town here, you wouldn't really know.
As you approach Simbista, the half a dozen pelagic fishing vessels that are based there dominate the skyline. They dwarf everything around them.
Oh no, there's another marina inside that one.
And I've never seen a community where every house, almost without exception, is in such immaculate condition. Shetland houses have to be good to cope with the weather, but these are above and beyond. And most have massive, well-insulated sheds and workshops close to the house. There are only 1,000 people living here, but the millionaires made their money not from oil, but from the fishing boats, and did jolly well when European quotas were brought in. Most mainland pelagics are owned and skippered by Scotsmen, but crewed by Filipinos and Nigerians to save some money. But the kind-hearted Walsey skippers like to keep it in the family, so they generally only employ locals. And they only go out for 10 or 12 weeks a year. Not sure what the blokes do on an island when they're not fishing. In the winter, quite a few of them fly down to Inverness or Glasgow and jet off to find some winter sun. Can't blame them for that. But judging by the vessels along the pontoon, what they mostly do when not fishing in the big boats is to go fishing in little ones, just for fun. They also race dinghies.
Now this is a remarkable dinghy park. I've never seen anything like it.
Walsey One designs, long shallow keels, no centre plate, built as light as a feather, all the top gear. Perfect paint jobs. And I presume painting boats gives the pelagic fishermen something to do during the 9 months of the year when they're not really working. They can retreat to their expensive, well-insulated and well-lit toy-stuffed sheds for a bit of recreational boat decorating. Amazingly, given the quality of the paint jobs, no covers. But then, if you've done such a great job, it's a shame to cover it up. In the old days they had gunter rigs, but now they spare not a penny on really good quality gear. Needle spars, muscle boxes, dynema, flying whisker poles. They race them 3 up and have no launching trolleys but carry them down to the water. Tradition, see?
Oh, here's the courses they do. Wallasey Boating Club courses. Factory, West Buoy, Crab Pot, Skerry, Fleshings, North Pier, North Bow.
More snaps on the web. I'll bung a link in below. Walsey used to be called the Bonnie Island, and it certainly is that. It's an utterly charming place, as peaceful as you could ever hope to find. It's kind of fun walking around looking for signs of money. Quad bikes, ponies, cars, statues. But money has also been well spent. The island's 1,000 inhabitants have one of the finest schools I've seen anywhere. And an all-weather floodlit sports pitch with a view to die for. They also have their own leisure centre, of course, a big one, with a marvellous pool. Amazing facilities. In the north of the island is the most northerly 18-hole golf course in Britain. Of more interest to me are the peat diggings, hard to see from the ground, but easily visible from Google Earth. Must get a drone. The ancestors of the modern-day softy Simbisterites used to work really hard for a living, cutting peat to keep warm and as fuel with which to dry fish. These old islanders would have been amazed to learn that their descendants could become millionaires just by working for 10 weeks a year. All this perfection, all this good fortune has just one tiny flaw. 5 years ago, quite a few of the island's pelagic skippers were caught up in the Great Shetland Blackfish Scandal. It was a marvellously complex scam in which some of the skippers were landing more herring and mackerel than they were allowed, and then the local processors used different systems for hiding the illegal catch from the European fishery inspectors. One factory installed a separate processing line to cope with the blackfish. Another had 2 sets of computers, one showing the real weight and the other a much lower one for the bureaucrats to look at. Clever boys. The scheme was blown when some pelagic skippers started paying tax on the earnings from the blackfish. The revenue people realised that the fishermen were getting rich quicker than the quotas should have allowed them to. I really love the mix of honesty and dishonesty in paying tax on dodgy income. It all goes to show that giving a greedy man loads of money has never been a cure for such a terrible affliction. There are some handy links on the website if you wish to follow up this most delicious of scandals.
I should really stop saying what our plans are, but we're going to go across here to Glenbow, which is a very small distance, and we're going to stop there for the night. That's the plan. Very simple, just out here, round there, and that way. Hopefully before the tide starts. We'll sing down here. That's Glenbow, and there's a picture of it. 16. There we are. Glenbow. Looks alright. Flat, but we'll give it a go. Good.
Wolsey gave us the best weather of our Northern Islands trip. It was, I confess, the only time during the whole 2 months where it was nice enough to eat in the cockpit. Just the one meal though. I'm not complaining, just saying as a warning to those who might go thinking that Shetland in July is a warm place to sail. This was really lovely sailing, and it was only a short 7 miles to Vidlin. There was a brilliant breeze blowing, so we decided to take our time and go for a bit of a detour to enjoy this fabulous sailing day. When Shetland is good, it is really, really excellent. Can't be a place like it for a good sail. Then the fine breeze suddenly dropped like a stone. It was as though someone had shut a door. That was okay though, the tide was with us and there's nothing wrong with a sunny drift. There was still a bit of a breeze. So it gave us a chance to sail close to and between some of those tiny homes and skerries, islands and rocks to you and me, that litter the Sound of Lunning. I love the names: Westlinger, Little Linger, Marra, Fleshing, Bella, Hunda, Bruce, Swarter. Needless to say, I guess the pronunciation on most of those names, of course. Locals can't agree, so why should I bother to find out? Bless them. I was really getting into it when Jill noticed what was coming up behind us. Not good.
See that the fog is rolling in, and Jill's out here in the fog, so we'll just wait a bit and see if anything clears. If it doesn't, then we'll go back to Simba. And what?
Well, the tide's carrying us that way.
Yeah. It is, it's disappearing over here too.
I started to prepare for an honourable retreat to Simbista, and pretty soon the visibility started to fall through the floor. I had laid down a track on the GPS so that we knew we could get back to Simbista without running aground. But on the way up, we'd seen a fair bit of ship traffic around. Ferries, workboats and oil support vessels skimming along at 15 knots, relying on radar and local knowledge. So there was a small risk of getting mown down in the fog by a ferry that had to run to a tight schedule. I decided not to turn and run, but to fire up the radar and then get as close to the coast as I could and feel my way around to Vidlin, hoping that my chart was detailed enough to show all the little rocks.
Huh? Though there is enough wind to sail, it should be a fairly simple job of following this shore. If push comes to shove, I've got my GPS track to take me back to Simbista, so I'll be all right. We're going to go into, what was it? Vidlinvo. See that it's fairly steep too all right along here. Should be at Lunning Head fairly soon and then turn off to the west. Using the radar for the first time, and it's pretty amazing actually. Just about to see the coast there. Got 23 metres underneath us. We hope that we have turned down here. And at the bottom here there's a sort of marina type thing, so we're going to try and find that.
Note to self, must get a tablet computer with charts and GPS. It was the first time I'd ever used the radar in anger. It actually worked pretty well and was reassuring to have on board.
Suddenly we can see a bit more. Not a massive amount more, but what's that sparkling there then?
I think there's a house. I feel we're in the middle of back of beyond, but people are living around here. Behind that wall of cloud, it's probably a parked car.
Ah, look, it's really emerging now, look.
Like
Oh, there's a fish farm.
Not marked. What does the sat nav make of that? It doesn't see
radar.
it. Oh, yes. No.
Yeah, not yet. So this is a picture of what we've just done. We came up here, along here, and then down here. Here's the fish farm then.
You can see the other side now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such
Well, it's amazing how quickly that's lifted. So this is Vidlinvo, and it does seem fairly typical. Of what you get here in Shetland. Deep water, 21 metres, dead fish farm, few houses down here, ferry terminal. This is the emergency one for Walsey.
Vidlin is a tidy sort of place. 3 or 4 single-lane roads and a dozen houses. It has one of the many excellent Shetland marinas, yet another blessing stemming from the oil industry. There's even lecky on the pontoons. The bloke in the dinghy is the distinguished local fisherman, John Arthur Robertson, rowing out to greet us, to see us safely into our berth, to tell us not to pay for the electricity, and to offer me a bit of a tour as soon as we tied Harmony up to the pontoon and plugged in the fan heater.
Your side then. Yeah, this is the arrangement here. Visitor's gate key. Please use during your stay and return before departure. Vidlin Marina does not have a fixed charge for short stay for steamboats. To enjoy your facilities, a donation can be left in this. Well, I don't know how you leave a donation in that box. I don't think I'm that bothered with donations. So where are we going?
Over there, the 5 buoys over there.
To feed the crabs, or to see if you caught anything.
See if I've got any.
Is this a good place to feed crabs, or is this the only place your mum and dad will let you catch them?
It's the only place I can go with the wind right now. I can go further.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
They don't mind you, so you've got some on the other side of you.
No, I've only got 5 off right now.
Do you get good ones in here then?
Sometimes.
And tell me what your name again is?
John Arthur
John Arthur
Robertson.
Robertson. John Arthur Robertson. Oh, that's a great floating line you got there, man. You know, as a sailor, I love a good floating line.
Yeah.
You know, the longer the lines, the better, really, don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You got water in the bottom of your boat, man.
Yeah, I
You've got a
know.
wet foot now.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right, I'll let you off. So have you ever been peat cutting or anything like that?
We used to, but not anymore, no.
Because it's too much like hard work. Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, there's to be a few tiddlers then.
Yeah. There was no bait, so I'm surprised I got anything.
No? So you're gonna keep those?
No, I'll throw them back. But I keep all my catches until the end of the day.
Oh, do you? Just
Yeah.
to see what you've caught?
Yeah. That's one. Yeah. Throw it back.
It's funny the way some of them get,
Barnacles.
yeah, and others don't seem to get them, do they?
Yeah, no. It's funny that. It might just depend on the age of them.
Are they going to eat your whelk now?
No. The whelk might eat them stuff.
Do you think so? Well, lots of them have got claws missing, haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I think eating them's disgusting.
Yeah.
I think they're just like giant spiders. Someone gave us one the other day and Jill ate it. It was a lot of work
Yeah.
for not much meat, really.
They're tasty though.
They do pack a lot of taste, that's true,
Yeah.
but they're just not. Okay, tell me about your boat.
It's 10.5 feet long.
Yeah,
It's wooden.
yeah.
It's flat bottom.
Who made it?
Alan Moncrief.
How long ago?
It's 18 years old.
All right.
Well, it'll be 20 years old now, next year. So it's 19 years
So
old.
is it your boat?
It's my brother's boat. But he lets me use it.
And its name is
Dratsy.
Dratsy. So you're put it in a different place now.
Could be, yes.
And Dratsy means otter.
In
Now, you
Shetland-
see,
Shetland
as a
dialect.
fisherman, what I'd like you to do really as you know, your job is to string these across the entrance to every harbour. You know that, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, just to make life more exciting for blokes like me.
Yeah, get caught on them.
So is that an average catch then?
No.
No.
For no bait, that's an average catch.
So none of these got any bait in?
No, none of them's got bait.
Well,
Here's the next one.
why haven't any of them got any bait in?
Because I didn't have any bait when I shot them. That's...
If you'd shot them, you'd got a lot more crabs, would you?
Yeah, probably. Oh, there's fish in this one.
There was a fish, or there is a fish?
There is a fish.
No?
There's two different kinds of crabs here.
Oh yeah, look at the fish. That's Gurner, is it, or something? Is it?
Gurnard, yeah.
Yeah. There's two different types of crab.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's spider
Oh
crab.
yeah, spider crab. Wow, that is such a different thing, isn't it? Are they edible?
If you get them big enough, yes. Oops.
Oh yeah, man. You gonna put that back? You're gonna put it in? Oh, the crab's gonna eat it.
Oh well.
Oh well, he says.
Last one.
How often do you get the spider crabs then?
Quite a lot.
Do they get bullied by the other ones?
No.
They haven't got much in the way of nippers, have they?
No, they don't. But they have a good camouflage device. They detach seaweed from the bottom.
Yeah.
And they attach it to their shell, and it grows on them.
All right. So you're gonna let that fish go? Go on, put that fish back. Go on.
Where is it?
The Gurner, go on, put it back. Or are you gonna use it as bait?
Probably use it as bait.
Oh, okay, I'll let you. Well, it's quite exciting, isn't it? Because you don't know what's going to come up.
No, you don't. Unless, of course, you hold it, but didn't have anywhere to put them, and just put everything back in the pool as it goes.
So could you use crab as bait for crab?
You can use crab as bait for lobster, but not for crab.
So when you use it as bait for lobster, what do? Put it in? You boil it and then put it in, or you break it up?
You just pick it up in your hands and crush them.
Yeah.
And then put them in the bait bag.
Okay. So you poor old fish, you. It's almost got hands, isn't it?
Yeah. That's actually a rock gurnard.
Yeah.
But in Shetland we call it a plucker.
A plucker?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it plucks barnacles off the stones and eats them.
It can get barnacles off stones?
Yep.
How?
With its minute teeth.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I'll put you on YouTube, man.
Okay.
Have you looked at my website?
No, what's your name again? I forgot.
The website is on the front of the boat.
Oh,
Keep turning left, yeah.
It's a boat hook.
Oh, okay, a boat hook. And what's the other one called then?
That one's called a gaff because it's sharp.
Yeah, and you use that
And
catching a fish, grabbing, pulling the fish
If
in.
you have a big fish on
Yeah.
a light line,
Yeah.
you gaff it inside of the gill
Yeah.
and it hauls it up. Oh, we've got a bigger fish in this. Hang on, we've got more than one fish. We've got about 4 fish.
Wow.
Wait, 2 fish. We've got a cod and a bigger plucker. Doesn't really have a house. He thinks it's cheaper that way. Well, it probably is.
It probably is, yeah.
Twice the size.
Yeah. Are those different types then?
No, they're the same
All
kind.
right.
They're the exact same.
They are ugly buggers, aren't they?
There's a cod.
Yeah. Codling.
Codling, yeah.
Yeah. How old is that?
Probably about just over a year,
Yeah.
or just under a year
Yeah.
maybe.
So are these yours or your dad's?
But
Pops.
my dad found them, but he gave them to me.
Oh, that's good of him. Wow, what a melee.
2 left, so
So when you were at school, did you spend a lot of time looking out the window?
yeah. I didn't get much work done.
Did you not?
No. In in my first year of this classroom at this side, I got a pretty bad report card.
Oh, did you?
But I improved. So they stopped sitting me at the window seats.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would still glance over occasionally.
Well, you know, it's hard not to look out the window.
It is, yeah.
So will you quit school as soon as you can?
Yeah, I'll probably leave in secondary 4.
And will you get a boat then?
Maybe I might just work on my dad's boat. He just bought a boat.
Where are we going?
Should put this one back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That'd be a good thing to do.
Wait, did I close the door?
That cod's a beautiful colour, isn't it?
Where are we going? That's it.
Oh, Crab's having a go at it now.
Oh yeah, it's all tangled up.
Someone must have set it badly.
No, it's just with the seaweed.
Tide's doing weird things.
Seaweed.
You do have a lot of seaweed, don't you?
You do, yeah.
So would you like to work on one of the big pelagics?
Nope.
No.
Not enough work being done. Oh, there's only one in here. The big ones, though.
There's not enough work being done.
Nope, there's not enough work on board one of them.
Is there not?
Nope. It's a big one, this one.
In you go. Oh, you've got big nippers. Go for it, man. They seem quite agitated when they move in, and then after a while they'll kind of settle down, don't
Pot under the water.
Wonder if it's going to rain again tonight.
I hope not.
I hope not too. I bet the boat's harder to row with me sitting in the back, isn't it?
A bit, yeah. It's not as... I've had it harder to row. I rowed it when I was towing an anchor.
Did you? Why?
Because it was stuck in the bottom and
Oh,
I couldn't
okay.
get it out, so I just towed it around. And then hauled it up.
Once John Arthur Robinson had safely rowed me back to the pontoon, Jill and I headed for an evening walk to the hills. Places like this are good for the soul.
This is about half a mile from the boat. It's up the hill. It's a curlew. Same colour as your hair.
Sorry?
Same colour as your hair.
Just in case you think it's all too perfect, the weather went tits up for 3 days and Jill and I had to rely on our inner resources and good books while we hid from the 3-day northerly.
This is the downside of sailing in Shetland. When it's good, it's very, very good. But I think probably since we've been up here, we've only sailed half the time. Half the time you're sitting on the boat, waiting for the wind to stop so that you can go sailing. It's now 11:15, so it's still light. Light enough for the, dark enough for the light to come on the back there. You can see the Shetlanders are all sitting in their front rooms on the internet. If you're going to come up to Shetland to sail, the sailing will be fantastic and exciting, scenically amazing, lots of great wildlife, but man, the wind just blows and blows and blows. And yesterday was supposed to be a nice day. It was a nice day, but the fog came rolling in. I fear that Friday might be a bit similar. Hope not, but there was one of the weather forecasts said fog. Well, you can. I have my piece of advice to you if you do come sailing in the Northern Isles is that you better be patient. We've been here in Vidlin Bow. We've been here, and as you can say, there's it's not a big place. We've been here for 3 nights and 2 days. When we came in, it was foggy, so we kind of snuck in with the radar, and then the wind started blowing, as the weatherman predicted, and it howled from the north, rained a fair bit. We sat there, clung to the electricity, and now this is the good day. We've got about 3 good days, I think, and so there's not much wind, but there, disappearing in the distance, is a big... The Bow disappears that way. There are massive hills on that side, big hills on that side, but fog is dropping in